So as we are going to take it to the interview, Pani Marcia, welcome. Introduce yourself to the people, please.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate this. As for We for Africa, has been a motivation for me also, seeing that my work for Africa is liberating and is getting into the Africans' mentality that they are believing in themselves to the extent Africans are joining together from different countries to make sure that they build up something for themselves, not for one particular country, but for African countries. As for We for Africa, I saw their WhatsApp group and I was so proud of it. And I was so happy to be in their WhatsApp group, to the extent they have a Facebook page also that's running. And I believe in this, that this is a good sign to see an Africans coming together from different countries. And that's what I really love so much in this fight of liberating Africa, to see different countries, different peoples from different countries coming together as one and presenting to form one organization or one development group, that they could see each other as brothers and sisters. And I'm so happy, and I appreciate you as the CEO of that, or the founder of We for Africa. I appreciate you for doing that great job, and I must say you are doing a very great job by bringing African youths together from different countries. It is not an easy job, as I know, because I'm into the same thing. So I know you are doing a very hard work that if people don't understand, they may think you are having a soft work, but you are doing a great job that most of us freedom fighters will not be even able to do, to put Africans in one group. So I congratulate you for that, and I will thank you for forming that group as We for Africa, and I really appreciate it. And I'm very happy to be on your platform today as my African platform. I see every African platform who stand for freedom as my own platform, and I also see them as my fellow brothers and sisters. And I so appreciate to be here, my brother. Thank you so much, and I will thank all of your followers, and I will tell them that we are here and we are together always.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. You watching us, we will take it live. You know, it's been so while you've been just seeing the videos of Pani Marcia without seeing him live speaking, right? So this is time now. We bring you here, Pani Marcia, live and direct. So let's start with the questions. Pani Marcia, we can start with number one questions as we take you to the interview. Yeah. And the first question says that the revolution in Africa taking place, and it is the talk of our time, right? Yeah. So okay, talk of our time. What is your takes to all Africans to support the revolution?
Yeah, thank you so much for that questions. You know, all your questions that you have been writing to me, they are beautiful questions, and they are questions I think may help, and I would love to give my own ideas. Not to fool any African out there, but to give the ideas that I know about the revolutions happening in Africa right now. You know, as we stand, African revolutions have already begun, and we are so proud of the peoples who have been helped, either the military unit that have been helping the African revolution to stand, and we are never going back, and we are still moving. And African revolution today, the Western peoples may tell Africans this kind of revolution is a crime or is against the democracy or democratic leaders, that Africans should believe that this is a big development in Africa, and this is something that is going to let Africans to free themselves from the mental slavery or from their colonial masters. And I believe in this, that this revolution that is happening, like military coup happening in all West African countries, I'm so proud of it, and I'm so in support of it. Any country that make a military coup. No EU term for elections in Africa. We need to stop that, because that is something that is affecting African countries from going forward. And no EU intervening in African elections is something also that we need to stop the Westerners from intervening in African elections. And the only thing to stop that is this military coup that is happening, because today, as we all see, in Niger election, the EU cannot represent themselves because they are not accepted. In today, they cannot represent themselves in Mali election, any election in Mali, because they are not accepted. So this is burning them. If we Africans can really think personally and take an example from ourselves, you know, as you and me, brother, today we are here, and you always came to my country, you always intervene in my country problems. Then if I stop you, you said you want to help me, and I said, no, I don't need your help anymore, brother, stay in your country. And now if you are angry, why will you be angry if I tell you I don't need your help? Why will you be angry? Why will you be forcing yourself on me? If I am not feeding you, if you are not getting something from my place. So this is it. This is how Africa is to the West, because I live in the West and I know what West is doing to Africa. And I swear to God, my brother, we are the one feeding these peoples. I live among them. Without we, they can't move. This is what I tell Africans. Mostly when Africans tell me, "PANDI MAICA, you are fighting for Africa, but you are living in the among your enemies." I said, you don't understand. If you don't live among your enemies, you can't know what they plan against you. Sometimes you have to be among your enemies to know who they are and to know what they plan and to know their strategy, because they always go to Africa and live among Africans. They know Africans are their enemies, but they go to Africa and live among us to know what we plan, to know how to weak us. So we must also come in among them to know how their weakened point. We must know their weakened point. So the weakened point of the West is when we stop conniving with them, when we stop business partnership with them, when we stop them from intervening or participating in our elections, in any of our foreign affairs. We need to stop them, because as for Africa today, the recent coup's ideology regiment against Western carnage, operation in Niger and other African countries, my brother. The military coups in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Sudan, and Niger, and all Francophone and other Francophone countries like Gabon also, to a large number of African peoples, indicate that France is gradually losing grips of its former colonial countries in Africa. So what is here that people are not understanding? Because my brother, if I tell you, I live near France, the time that Niger says we are not going to export uranium to the West anymore, the time they stop, just 1 week, my brother, France lose light in their house, in their rooms, in their companies. They lose light energy. Why? Because we are giving them light energy, but today the light energy that Western peoples are taking their light energy from the country in Africa, that country have no light. Niger have no light. If you go to Niger, no light, no company, no factories. Niger citizens are suffering. But what Niger is given, I can tell you that 25% of the European development is from Niger. 25%. If you check, another 20% is from Nigeria. Because Nigeria is the research country in Africa. So this is what we need to understand. What is happening in Africa today, as when you say the revolution happening in Africa, and the encouragement I could give and the mentality is for them not to listen to Western media. Because Western media, what do they say? When I remember when last time when ECOWAS have their meeting in Ghana, Accra, what do? They paid some African youths. They paid us to destroy ourselves, because they paid some youths to go out on the street and shout and say, we need democracy, we need democracy. But those youths have been paid. It's not they're willing to do it, but they pay them to just go out on the street and say, we need democracy, so that they could send that to the West. So that the West will see that, oh, even Africans need this democracy. What they could show to the world, because nobody was in support of this democracy in Africa. Every African youth is against the democracy in Africa. We said, no, we don't need democracy anymore. So to put stop to these coups, this revolution coups happening in Africa, they have to use some African youths against the other youths that want the liberation. So that's what they did in Ghana. So that's why the youth of Africa should put this in their mentality, that democracy is against our freedom. Democracy is against our everything that could help us, or our every development part. Democracy in Africa is against we the Africans. When we realize this, that if you came to the West who is forcing Africans to accept democracy, they don't have democracy. They are forcing us, but they don't have. But why can't they tell us? Why can't they explain to us human right? Since they have human right, but they don't want to tell us human right, because they know the value of human right. They know the importance of human right, but they don't want to tell us that. They are telling us things, to accept things that will destroy us. That is one of the democracy. Democracy is one of the things that will destroy us and finish us. We will always remain in conflict. If you see whatever is happening in Southern Sudan, in Ethiopia, it is all mess of these democracy things. It all come up with this democracy thing. Today they want to mess up Niger, because truly I was so happy when Niger citizens are so quiet and in support of their coup leader. I was so proud of Niger citizens that they are not helping the West.
Everybody's proud.
Very good, my brother. They are not in support or giving any chance to the West to feel like, oh, we can fit in this country. Because the West have no plan. Today, if you ask the West, Why do you want to invade Niger? They have nothing to say because they can't tell you that we want to defend Niger citizens because they want democracy. Because no Niger citizen is starting for democracy. So the only thing they can do is to invade Niger by force without no reason. They are invading Niger or planning to invade Niger for no reason. We have more than 100 troops in American troops in Niger. We have more than 100 France troops in Niger. What are they doing there? Somebody said, "Stay away from me. We don't need your help."
Anymore.
Come on.
Their protection,
So
we don't need the protection, nothing.
That's the place Africans should realize that these people cannot go without us, but we can move without them. We can even develop more than this without them, 100%
More than
without them.
You're right.
Because
You're
of
right.
them. They said, I watched the ideology man, one ideology man of the European Parliament. When they have a parliament meeting, the ideology man says they have to make sure that Africa stay wherever it is, because if Africa grow, they will fall down. So the West European Parliament is chatting about this, that if the Africa grow, they will fall down. So our growing or our development is their falling down, is their mess up. When Africa is poor and remain in war, they will grow and they will develop. So we have to change this table. We have to turn the table around, my brother. So that's all I can say about this revolution thing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pandi Master. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Like, this is all what you say. This is everything. Africa needs to be awakened, and France and the other allies, the Western allies, have to leave Africa. I think on the day before yesterday, when the UN summit, many African leaders like Cyril Ramaphosa, Dr. Lazaro Chikwera of Malawi, and I think many leaders who shouted that they must leave Africa. Africa resources for the Africans. You said everything on this particular topic. Thank you very much for being part. As we are going to take it to we are going to take it to the next question, right? Nigeria being the giant of Africa, producing 2.5 million barrels of oil and gas per day, exporting these gases to Europe. Why its citizens? So good for gas. What is your tech needed? What you think needed to be done, right, for change in Nigeria? Because a change in Nigeria is a change for Africa, because it's a giant of Africa. What's your takes on that?
Of course, my brother. That's why I love your question, because your question are pointing in a direction where if someone could listen, could get something from it and could know something even more, even if I don't speak all, but their mind will take them so far away to think by themselves that this can be happen if this happen. So Nigeria is the most richest country in the whole Africa, the most richest country in the whole Africa, that is arming, that is producing something. Almost, if you check the income of Nigeria, what they are producing, what Nigeria is producing today is 440.8 billion in a year, US dollar. Nigeria is the most richest country today, but is the most poorest. It have the most poorest citizens, no light energy, no source of food or anything, no shelter. Nigeria is going down each and every day. Each and every day we are seeing robbers in Nigeria killing innocent people. We are seeing all sorts kind of terrorism in Nigeria. It is not caused by Nigerian government. It is not caused by Nigerians to have those terrorist group in their country. It is caused by the West, especially UK and America. These people are very dangerous when it came to Nigeria. That's why they know something about the Africa, and they know Africa, the real root of Africa, the pillar of Africa. They knew it. That's why they grab this pillar never to grow, because if that pillar is out, then all African countries are out. Because I remember for a decade, if you remember 300 years ago, Nigeria was there when they are free. They were fighting for every African country to free and have their own independence. That make Africans today to say we have independent. That so-called independent that they turn now as another slavery independent, because we are not still independent, but we are still saying we are independent while we are ruled by some other peoples and telling us what to do and deciding which person will rule us, because we don't decide it by ourselves. So Nigeria average oil productions, it dropped by 14.69, my brother, percent a year on year to 1.22 million barrel per day. A country that is producing oil 1.22 million barrel a day. That country is still like this. That country is still poor like this. That country's citizens are still crying like this in war, in conflict. I tell you, in any African country that there is no conflict, no war, no terrorist group, that country have no resources. They have no resources. But as far as an African country contains some resources within, that country will be having terrorism, all kind of such kind of criminalism in that country, because it will be caused by the West. They created by themselves so that they could have a chance to step their foot in your country and pretending that we want to help you. There is a war in this place. We want to help them. Before helping Africans, we have war in the West. They couldn't quench the fire of that war between Ukraine and Russia. The West couldn't defend themselves.
You're right, bro.
If they really want to stop war or stop any terrorism, I think they should stop Ukraine, help Ukraine, send their militaries to Ukraine before sending their militaries to Niger, Nigeria. What? We don't have problem. They are having millions of problems. They couldn't settle those problems. They are having war. They are having war. They couldn't settle it. You know, I remember vividly, I was very here, and everything happened in front of my eyes when Ukraine war started with Russia. What happened? Italy was afraid to send their military because they are afraid Russia will fire them. German was afraid to send their militaries. What were they giving to Ukraine? They were giving Ukraine bottle of water and blanket and food. You know, that's what they were. They go to the border and stop there and give them food, blanket, and come back and leave Ukraine in fire. But now they are sending their militaries to Africa. That's what I made a video last time to tell European Union, before sending your militaries to Niger, send your militaries. If you know your militaries can stop war. No war in Niger. Niger just want you to stay away from them. Stay away from them and settle your continent. European continent is in fire with Russia. So settle that part, you know.
You're right.
So my brother, the MB in the second quarter of 2023 from 1.43 barrel Nigeria is producing in this 2023 million barrel of oil. But Nigeria is still poor. Nigeria needs help, and Nigeria doesn't need help from any other government, but Nigeria needs help of every African youth. We need to stand up for Nigeria, because Nigeria was there for us, for every African country. Nigeria was there for Africa. Nigeria was dying for Africa. If you check 300 years ago or 400 years ago, you find out that Nigeria militaries have been dying for many African countries. Example like South Africa, during Nelson Mandela to fight for freedom. So all these things were happening. Right. You know, so today Nigeria needs our help. We need to speak up for Nigeria. We need to stand up. We need to even forget about every other country. Let's come together as one and build up that Nigeria, because it's the most richest country in Africa and it's the most powerful country in Africa. They knew it. Why do they choose the Nigerian president? Sorry, I will mention Bola Tinubu, the Nigerian president, because his own way to come as a president, it have a way. FBI have filed against Bola Tinubu that could make Bola Tinubu unsuccessful to become a president in Nigeria. But why do they push him to become president? Because the FBI was planning to choose Bola Tinubu as their weapon to fight against the countries that are liberating themselves, like Mali and Niger and other places. That's why after Bola Tinubu becoming a leader, in just 1 week they make Bola Tinubu as the chairman of ECOWAS. Why? Bola Tinubu made many presidents there. Why don't they make them chairman of ECOWAS? But they were waiting for someone who they can use, someone who will be ruling a big country that they can use. So that was Bola Tinubu. They see that Bola Tinubu, all the political leaders in Nigeria, they can't use them. They can use only Bola Tinubu. Only Bola Tinubu will be good to use as a weapon to fight against Niger, Mali, Guinea, and other countries that are liberating themselves. So that's why FBI refused to leak those documents against Bola Tinubu. They hide it. This is the threat Bola Tinubu is running away from, for the FBI not to really expose him. So Americans and Westerners, the entire West, was threatening Bola Tinubu that if you are not ready to comply with us by invading or suspending these countries that are making coup today, we are going to leak your secret, and you are never going to become a leader. Come on, the FBI.
Yeah, how can ordinary governor Bola Tinubu to own $8 billion US? How comes?
Yeah, my brother.
$8 billion. That is money from.
If Bola Tinubu today says, I am not going to invade any African country, today I tell you, the West will wake up and tell Nigerians that remove Bola Tinubu because he's a dictator. They will bring out all the secrets about Bola Tinubu, all the wicked and all the evils that Bola Tinubu was doing. They will bring out everything, because when Bola Tinubu refused to work with them, This is why Bola Tinubu also, because he is in hungry of power, he have to accept what the West want and do what the West says to make sure that the FBI will not leak his documents to the world, because that is going to be a disaster for him. So this is what the West is doing in Nigeria. That's why I say, my brother, for Nigeria to be united, I give this advice to Nigerian youths every time. They are the problem of that country. Whatever they are facing today, because they refuse to sit down and unite as one people and forget about the multiple tribes they have in that country. We have a tribal problem in Nigeria that is making Nigeria to stay wherever it is today and making it worse. Because Nigerians believe in tribe. And any country that their youths believe in tribalism, they can never come together as one.
Never,
and
they can never
bring any development for themselves. They can see their peace or their development or their way of success, but they cannot get it because why? They are not united. Tribalism is beating them up, is eating them and finishing them every day. Whatever war you see in Nigeria, all this conflict between tribe and tribe, fighting against between tribe and tribe. So you see it go into their political system now. Nigerians can never vote for a good leader in Nigeria. Why? Because the youth are full of tribalism in their mentality. They can, when Nigerian youths can forget about this tribe, Igbo or any other Yoruba and this other, forget about it. You are all one. You can come together as one and choose a better thing for your country. Fight for your country to the land that all of you will be free. But as far as this tribalism stay in their mentality, they will still always have a fake leaders, a puppet leaders that will rule them. Because at the end of the day, they couldn't do nothing. They were saying, Bola Tinubu rigged the election, Bola Tinubu. They can't find anything. I told them, you can't remove this man, and you can never win when you go to court. I make it clear to them even before they will go to court. Because I knew that Nigeria as a tribalism country, that they are based on tribes. And everything in their mentality is about tribe. Everybody want to defend their tribes. Nobody want to think about the country, but everybody is thinking about my tribe, my side, my region, my country, my city, my tribe. Tribe is the biggest problem in Nigeria. If Nigerian youth can forget about tribe and come together as one, they are the most encouraging youths when it came to freedom. But when it came to their own country, they have tribal problem. But Nigerian.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you very much, Pangimanta. Thank you very much for hitting Nigeria on the tribal aspect. We are in, for Rwanda got more tribal accession than Nigeria, but they're able to cope up because after the genocide, they come together. Yeah. They have a focus-minded leader who can bring them together, to make the country aware and build the country to.
That's the problem in Nigeria right now. That's the problem in Nigeria right now. There's no single person who will come out as a Pan-African or as a freedom fighter and said, Nigerian youth, let's come together. If anyone came out, he will say, oh, my tribe. They have giants, they have great peoples, but what do those great people do? They defend their tribe instead of calling all Nigerians together and taking the front line, saying that if I am a Nigerian today, I will stood up and say, Nigerians, let's come together. I will forget about which tribe I came from. I will forget about that, but I will call on to all Nigerian youths to come together as one and let's fight for that country. Let's fight for our liberation. That is the problem in Nigeria. Yeah.
You're right, brother. You're right. Thank you very much for clearing this. I think all our followers already catch up the reality of it. Like people will be saying Nigeria. Now you already heard from the own Pandimasia, who is like I was saying. I'm very blessed to have you on this particular platform. As we going to take you to the next topic, we don't want to spend more time because people will defeat us. So we're going to trend number 3. Africa Union and the ECOWAS is termed as sell out to Africa, right? For us to achieve what we want, are we to abandon or to restructure?
Yeah, when you talk about African Union and ECOWAS, these are organizations or these are units that I always also talk about African Union and ECOWAS. But I will tell you that these unions you are talking about or organizations you are talking about, these two organizations were not built by we, the Africans. And they are not controlled by we the Africans, and they are not organized by we the Africans, and they can never be organized by we the Africans if we are not ready to liberate ourselves. This African Union you are seeing to be abandoned or to restructure, we can't restructure this one we have right now. We have to abandon this African Union and this so-called ECOWAS should be abandoned and deleted from Africa. If there should be any other African organization after the liberation and deletion of African Union and ECOWAS, then we can come up with our own beautiful organization that we can build for Africa. It will be there for all Africa. We don't need ECOWAS. If we don't need it, we don't need African Union. If we need African Union, it should be constructed and built and found by Africans themselves and ruled by themselves, not by you came, my brother. ECOWAS, I call that one a criminal organization or a terrorist organization that was built by the West to make sure that it defends them when they go to Africa to steal our resources. ECOWAS will defend them. ECOWAS doesn't belong to Africans. It belongs to the West. Because ECOWAS always defend the West, defend the part of the West. ECOWAS was never there to defend Africa. If ECOWAS was there to defend Africa, ECOWAS should defend Mali when they do coup to liberate themselves from France. ECOWAS should defend Niger. ECOWAS should defend Guinea. ECOWAS should defend Sudan. ECOWAS should defend all these countries, Burkina Faso. Because why I say ECOWAS should defend them? If ECOWAS is there for Africa, then ECOWAS will see that, oh, look, our African country want to liberate themselves from colonialism or slavery, so we will help them. So you see, ECOWAS will stand and say, it's right, we are no more going to accept no West colonialism or no foreign rule in Africa anymore. But ECOWAS didn't do that. What was ECOWAS doing? Helping the West to get their hand on top of Niger, Mali and Burkina again. An ECOWAS that we call, they have soldiers that are African soldiers. They are ready to even fire Niger today or make war in Niger today because in the name of they want to help the West. They want the West to be proud of them, not Africans to be proud of them. So ECOWAS is not for Africa and Africans are not the owner, and ECOWAS will never belong to Africans. So it should be banished or abandoned or demolished and removed from Africa because it is not built by us. That is ECOWAS. When we go to African Union, we see an African Union. When African Union want to have a meeting to talk about some development in Africa, African Union, sometimes they think about how to develop Africa. But what is the problem that they couldn't be successful to make those projects, development projects in Africa? Because their enemies already know what they plan. And if it is a development for Africa, they will find another way to destroy that plan of African Union. I remember when African Union says they want to build a bank for Africa, the African Bank. Okay, when they have that meeting, they have an European Union Council sitting down there. They have the European Union Secretariat sitting down there in Africa, in an African Union meeting. They sit down and write down whatever African Union plan to make an African bank, so that Africans will not save their money outside of Africa. They came back. When they came back, they hold a meeting in African Union without calling any single African Union person. They make their own European Union Parliament meeting. Now they have to discuss what Africans plan to build African bank. They see that when Africans build their own bank, it will distract them from going to Africa, and it can even distract them from getting any benefit that they get from Africa. So it cannot happen. What are they going to do now? They discuss about this. What are they going to do to stop Africans from building their own bank? And they success. They get successful. Today Africa have no bank. We have no bank in Africa. They get successful by stopping that plan, that progressive plan of African Union. So why, when African Union, today when you go to Niger, Niger was suspended by African Union. Mali was suspended by African Union. So African Union also is not there for us. Why are they suspending if they Why are they suspending African country for saying that I want to get myself? My brother, if I am here today to support you and you said, look, I want to do this so that I will be free, and I know when you do it you will be free. So will I stop you from doing that? And I said I am here to help you, or I am here to protect you. But you said no, look, if I go here I will die. I want to go this way. And I know you are right to go that way. You are right, but I want to stop you from not going there. I want you to go places where you will die. So am I there for you? No, I'm not there for you. So African Union is never there for Africans. They are there for the West. These are things that are built by the West and constructed by the West. And every rule and regulation we have in African Union is controlled by the West. There is no rule that doesn't favor West. But there are thousands of rules in African Union that doesn't favor Africa itself. And that African Union is in Africa, center of Africa. But they have no single rule that can benefit Africa or that can favor Africa. All the rules there and regulations, all constructions are favoring only West. So these things should be abandoned, my brother. That's my take on it. Should be abandoned. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pandimasia. You already know, it's a very sellout organization that is out there, to sponsor whatever progress in Africa. They use the ECOWAS because they cannot come directly. They use indirect. Always this is the way that they used to do. So they use ECOWAS and the African Union to do their mind games. So thank you very much, Pandimasia. As I go take it to the fourth question, most of the Africans right now, because Africa with 1.3 billion people, we're looking at ourselves. Being an individual country cannot help us. We cannot able to match the world economy, right? And we have the resources. So it has come to our mind that all Africans should come together and make a united Africa, right?
Yeah.
Borderless Africa, free trade area, one passport, one military to resist the world, because any country cannot able to resist without coming together as one Africa. When we come together as one Africa, we can able to resist the world. So do you think we can achieve this?
Yeah, it is possible to achieve it when we are ready. It is possible, very possible and very simple and very fast. Within 2 years, Africa can come together as one. When Africans are ready, within just 2 years, we can come together as one and build up our own African bank within 2 years and build up one currency for Africa within 2 years. A currency that will be built on gold. Africa has gold that can build currency for Africa. That will be more powerful than any other currency. Today, when you have 10 euro, you send it to your country in Africa. It is big money. It should not be like that. African money, by right, when you have African currency, 1 or 10 of African currency, when you have 10 African currency, you should use it and change it in euro. It should become 100 euro. Why? Because it will be built on gold.
You're right. Because
built on
it is backed with gold.
But today, we are seeing people who have no gold have gold on their currency. We who produce gold, we have no gold on our currency. Our currency is not even constructed by us, constructed by them. They build gold currency for themselves and build empty paper for Africans. Today, I will show you something, my brother. This is very good because I have something here. This is Gambian $20, my brother.
Okay.
This is European 20 euro, my brother. I am going to show you the differences between currencies. Let's just look at this. This is Gambian $20. Just look at it, how it is. I want people to look at it very well. And look at this euro here. Look at how it is pressed. Look at how it is heavy. Look at how it is heavy. Look at these signs here. These signs. Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, look.
I see them.
Do you see the sign on it? Do you see the sign on the corner?
I see.
Do you see any sign?
Nothing.
Good.
Nothing.
You see this one have this? You see this one have this?
I see.
This one.
I see.
It have this?
Yeah, I see.
But this African currency doesn't have it. Why? My brother. Because they build up their own currency. This is an African natural resource. This is built on African natural resource. This one we have here. This is Africa. This is Africans' own. But they build this currency for Gambia without having it. They build only empty paper. This is a paper with plastic.
A paper.
They build for
You're right.
And their own is stronger than our own. So I think Africa coming together as one, it is possible. There's nothing like it is not possible. If people say it is not possible, I see them as people who are not thinking far. They are thinking so short and they can't know. If you are thinking far, you will know that for Africa to come together as one, and it has already begun, my brother. Because what you are doing today, I am so proud of you that you could bring African youth together from different countries. That is the beginning of this revolution and beginning of Africans coming together as one. And you are one of the peoples bringing African youth together as one. Because I saw your WhatsApp group. We have different peoples there from different countries. So that is an improvement to so that Africa can come together as one and build one currency for themselves, one passport, borderless Africa, and have one president and even have one military unit that could stand for Africa. Come on, we are very strong. Our militaries are very strong when we come together as one. There is nobody in this world that could distract or that could do anything in Africa without the concern of African militaries. African militaries are very strong. So my brother, my take on this is it is possible. I give the courage to every African. Put this in your mind, but
Okay.
you must deal with each and every African youth must deal with your own mindset. Believe in this, that when you see a Sierra Leonean, I'm from Gambia, but when I see a Sierra Leonean, I see them as my brothers and sisters. I don't see them as people from Sierra Leone.
Themselves.
When I see a Ghanaian,
Yes,
I
but
appreciate
you're
them.
right.
I see them as my brothers and sisters. So the same thing each and every African youth must do. This is mindset work. We must deal with the mindset. Thank you so much, my brother, for
Thank you
that
very
question.
much. Thank you very much. Why I bring up this question, because it is in the agenda of We for Africa. Right now, we are in the middle of the point where we have this agenda to articulate in 2024. What we did here is to have ambassadors in all these countries. We already got 24 ambassadors in 24 countries. We are working for 30 countries. Once we have these 30 countries, we already open WhatsApp group in all these 30 countries wherein we can engage offline meetings.
Yeah.
So we can propose a day in 2024, inshallah. We are going to propose a day when all these countries will be marked for borderless Africa. That's our main agenda right now. As we see, we Africa Gambia, we Africa this, we Africa. So we all Egypt, Cairo, everywhere in Africa, 130 countries, big countries. We can mark for a day borderless Africa.
I will tell you this, my brother. I've been joining to many revolution groups, WhatsApp groups, and many freedom fight WhatsApp groups, but they all turned to be like coward groups, my brother. Your group was the best group. I have more than 24 WhatsApp groups that stand for Africa, but I can say your group is number one. I swear to the Holy Quran, I'm a real Muslim. I will not lie to you. Your group is the only active group.
Thank you very much.
Just whatever you people send in that group, I saw it. Just for me to write on group, I'm not good at it. But whatever you people send, even when you send the purpose of that We for Africa, I read it and I was so excited to accept it. I even downloaded it on my phone to have it, because you know why, my brother, you people are doing a great job and I'm so proud of it, and I will be in that group to give all my effort and all my energy whenever you people need me.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, PANDI Masia. We take it to number 5 question, which is the Africans in diaspora. You know, we can take you back to 1960s when 1960s, 50% of foreign direct investment to China are from the Chinese in the diaspora, right? 1960s, 50 billion of the foreign direct investment to China. 16% of that 50 billion is from the Chinese in diaspora, which makes China today the manufacturing hub of the world.
Of course.
The diaspora of China contributed to the development of China. So they will have 60 million. Now Africa having more than 250 million Africans in the diaspora, which is the Jamaican, the Brazilians, and you know, the Haiti, all these diasporas in Africa's diaspora. You know, most of them have already traced their DNA from the specific countries here in Africa. They want to come home. So now my question here is, you know, Black Foreign Africa agenda, which will help Africa in the diaspora to come home, because they want to come home. So we have to implement some strategies, right, to make them feel at home, for them not to feel as a foreigner. So this means no Black foreigner in Africa. So what you take on that? Feel more than welcome. If they may, what can we achieve by them coming, and like how can we interrelate with them?
You see, that question also is very good, because we have most of the people. I was speaking with someone from America also. I think last week, this week I was speaking with somebody. I think Tuesday, I was speaking with him from America. He is in America. He born in America, and he was telling me, look, I want to go back to Africa. I want you to advise me. This is what I say to him. Look, you are staying in America as a black man, but you are not appreciated in that America. If you build businesses in America, you build it for Americans, white people. If you build any company in America, you build it for American white people. You don't build it for yourself. So if you want to build businesses or any other thing, build it in Africa. Find your roots. Is what I always tell them. I speak with many Jamaicans who also want to find them roots in Africa. And I really appreciate it. I encourage them to find them root. I even told some people, if you don't know where to go, you don't find your root, call me. I will give you a place in Gambia, base in Gambia, stay in Gambia. I think we should invite these people. We should give them a courage and a feet. We should not let them fear us by coming back home. It's their home. So when we make them feel like, oh, you are not from Africa, you are from America, we are going to make them run away. And these people are coming back with a lot of investment, a lot of mentality, and a lot of experience that could even help us to develop ourselves.
Right.
Because these people, if you see, Akon have wake up, and I appreciate when Akon say he want to build his own city, and he's encouraging other peoples in Africa to find their roots, to go back to Africa and started establishing businesses in Africa. That's the fact. But these people, a lot of them are afraid because a lot of Africans are calling them, oh, you are not from Africa, you're born in America. You are not from Africa. They are all Africans. They are our brothers and sisters who go. Why are they there today? Due to the slavery, when they enslave our great grandfathers and they become the west side, But they are not from the west. They are from Africa. African cannot lost because we have a color that no one get and no one can manufacture it. No one can photocopy this color. This color cannot be photocopied. That's why African man can never be lost. Wherever you go, we will always know you are an African. You are not an European. You are not an American. You are not a Chinese. You are not an Asian. You are an African. So this we need to.
Our skin, our identity.
Very good. This skin is our identity. That's why an African, when these peoples are trying to come back, we should always open our hands and say, look, we want you. And it's a very big development because a lot of these peoples are very rich in the Western world. They are developing the West. But they are not developing their own side because they didn't know where they came from. So we need to tell them. We need to give them courage to come back home with their business, with their developments. But one thing also is they cannot come back. A lot of them are afraid to go back to Africa because the West have made them see that Africa is a war zone. And you can't build a business in a war zone.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't build a company in a war zone that people building have been destroyed there, and you can't go there and build a business. Where there is only gone in the survival of the fittest, you can't build a business, you can't establish any development there. So these people, a lot of these people are afraid. A lot of them with businesses want to go back, with companies want to go back and build big things in Africa, to develop Africa. But they are afraid. This war in Africa, this conflict in Africa, that's why the West never want Africa to be stable, because when Africa is stable, all these people are going back. They want to go back. The West is bad for us.
You're right.
In the West, yeah, we suffer here. Thank you so much for that question.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Because destabilization of Africa, they thrive. They thrive through the destabilization of Africa. With African having a very peaceful mindset, peaceful atmosphere, positivity in Africa, everybody will come because we have the most weather, the most welcoming, this is the most welcoming continent. And this for the diaspora, our skin, our identity, right? I know people are on the comment section which says, one person from Jamaica say, I'm from Jamaica, I need a place in Africa. That's a good place, right? Pandi, I already answered. Just choose the place you want to stay in Africa. If you don't have, go to Gambia or Australia. Wherever you go, you are very welcome.
I'm ready to invite these people back home. I'm ready to invite these people back home. Grigore, you are highly welcome. If you don't have any place in Africa, I'm ready to invite these peoples, land free for these peoples in Gambia. To make
so much land in Africa that we are going to use, even the 30% of the land, we are going to use it. 30% of Africa land.
Of course, my brother.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think we have already exhausted a lot. Then let us come to the final question, because people watching, people enjoying. If we can talk here, we can talk on the tomorrow, because people are enjoying. People feel like we have to talk like every day, because the more you talk, the more they feel like they welcome.
The more they get encouraged.
So the last question here is, what is your message to all young Africans? Because the destiny of the continent lies on the young people, the young generation of Africa. What is your message to the young Africans in Africa and in the diaspora? Thank you.
My brother, that question also is good, and I think I will not remove myself. Always I include myself when I want to advise African youth. We are the youth of that country, and we are the future leaders of tomorrow. One thing is, we need to put our heads up and believe in this, that we need to come together as one. To come together as one, it's not like you are coward, that's why you have to join your brother to do something. No, you are not coward, because you want unity, and unity bring peace, peace bring investment, investment bring development, development bring all kind of things, good life. and everybody want to live in good life. So when we want to live in good life, we must unite and have peace and have progressive things. When we are not united, we can do nothing. That's why in this proverb they always say, united we stand, divided we fall. Africa is divided. That's why we are falling every day, each and every day, all countries, because every country is standing on their own. We are divided. As we have Nigeria border between Niger border between Mali border between Burkina. So we are divided. That's why we are not standing. When we have no border, we are all one Africa. We can never fall. We don't fall.
Let me say something. You know, this Western people are very trick. Like, you know, they impose borders in Africa, but they don't have borders in Europe. They impose, know what they are doing. Yes, they impose France CFA on the free 14 countries. They are not using the France. Why this?
France is not using that same currency they create for Africa. Yeah. Yes. You see in Europe here, they have Italy, they have France, they have Germany, they have borders. Okay, but this border is just a name like border. But it's not a border, because whatever you do in Italy here, you put your hand on any machine, it come out from Germany, because they are connected. These people are connected technologically. They are connected, and every rule they want to do, they all go together and build up something for themselves, for Europe, all European countries. But in Africa today, if Gambia want to do something, Senegal will not be aware of it. Mali will not be aware of it. If Mali want to do something, the other countries will not be. Everybody want to do things on their own. But in Europe, they don't do things like that. They have borders, but it's just a name. Like France and German border, German and Austria border, Austria and Italy border, Italy and Spain border. But those are just a name, but they are still united. They do everything together. They are using one currency, but they refuse for Africa to use one currency. 24 or 27 countries in Europe are using one currency, and they said Africa should not use one currency. What kind of wickedness is that? This is where African youth should understand that these people are scamming us. While they are united using one currency, they are telling us divide, don't use one currency. That is a wickedness. They are making us to hate each other for no reason. So we must understand the strategy of Europeans. Europeans are using one currency, euro. They join together. That's why their euro is powerful than each and every African currency. African currencies are not powerful because we refuse to unite and build a golden currency for Africa, my brother. It's very simple for us to have a golden currency in Africa. It's very simple when we are united. Very simple. We have the gold, we have the power, we have everything. And one thing also, somebody commented, I also want to put that and add it to African youths, as your last question. African youths, we must understand is that the education system in Africa, it is a wicked education system. It's not an education for Africans, but suffocation for Africans. We are suffocating ourselves with this fake education system within us there. The way we learn, we believe that the way Francophone countries learn French, that's not the way they learn French in France country, in France itself. So why do they put differences in everything they give us? Is differences between their own. It's different from their own. The way we learn English languages in Anglophone countries in Africa, that's not the way Angleterre learn English. So why are they fooling us? Everything they give us is different from their own, but they call it the same thing, but the way they do it and the way they give to us is different. That's why we said the children in Africa right now, today, you and me, my brother, and everyone watching here, when we have children, we should not let our children to base on that education system in Africa. Because why? They will end up hating themselves. Even if they graduated, they become president, they can never make a good leader, because they learn how to hate themselves. How to unappreciate themselves and unlove their brothers and hate themselves and suffocate themselves. That's why when an African man, educated, graduated from university, go and become a president, he become wicked. Why? Because he learned only wickedness. He learned how to wicked his own people and favor the West. That's what we learn in schools in Africa. Our children are learning how to hate themselves and love the West. How to unappreciate themselves and appreciate the West. Today in Africa, our children appreciate white people more than themselves. Why? Because that's what they are learning.
You're right.
That's what we learn in school. So we need to stop that education system and build up our own education system. Like somebody was telling me last time, Swahili or we should be the language that all Africans should be learning. Let's kick up. Let's pick up our own languages and learn our own languages. If you go to Italy, Italy learn their own language. You go to
Yeah, yeah,
France, learn their
sure.
own
Yeah,
language.
sure.
You go to
Yeah,
Germany,
sure.
they learn their own language. You go to Spain, they learn their own language. In Africa, we are basing on someone language. We say we are learning language, but we are not even learning language. We are not learning any technology. An African man graduated from college and university cannot create bicycle for himself. What are you learning in school? But an European child who go to school for 4 years is creating telephone for himself, is creating all kind of technology system for himself and for the country. But in Africa, a man spent 30 years in school and graduated cannot create even bicycle in Africa. What are
Nothing,
we learning?
nothing,
My
nothing,
brother,
nothing.
it's so
You
painful. It's so painful.
this reminds me. This reminds me. You know, in Europe, they teach their children how to do mines, but they don't have the mind. In
Good,
Africa, we have the mines, but they don't teach us how to mine. At the
good.
end of the day, the European kids come and establish their companies. We, the people who own the mines, will become a laborers. It's a very wrong narrative. So we have to
You
wake
see,
up. We have to
one
wake up.
thing,
It's very
this
wake
is
up.
why I appreciate the Gambian former president Yahya Jammeh. When the Chinese came to the Gambia, he told them that, look, I want to send my peoples to China. You teach them how to mine in the oil, how to mine in the gas, how to mine in everything, every resources. They said, no. Chinese says, no. It is impossible. No, they can't because they don't have that school in China. But their children are learning where their children are learning because they don't want we black people to know how we can manufacture our resources by ourselves. They want always when we have resources, we have oil here, we have to call them and beg them, come and help us. We don't know what to do with this. So they came with their machines. So they have to tell us which percentage they will give to us. They have to even pity us and give us my own oil. You have to pity me and give me percentage, small percentage. You take all. This is why why it is happening to Africa. We have to let our children to learn mining and teach them. Let them do things by themselves. Africa can't do nothing. We can't mine in gas, we can mine in oil, we can mine in gold, we can mine anything, platinum, diamonds, we can mine in anything. These people have everything. And whatever they have today, the technology machines they have today, they create it with the resources from Africa. But we don't have no technology machines today that can mine in oil or gas or fuel or any other thing. So I think we Africans, we need to wake up. Believe me. We need to wake up, my brother. This is the time. There is no time for you. Mhm.
Palimatia, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us because the time is out
Yeah,
now. Thank you very much. Really appreciate. I know we can have another time because
yeah,
not all the time, every time. Thank you because we
yeah.
have to come together all the time. You have to say something like very relevant to
Thank you
educate
so
the
much, and
people
I
right
will
now here in
appreciate
Africa
this.
because
I will
we lack
appreciate this
education.
to
The
continue.
psychologically, yes,
I
the
will
control of
appreciate this to continue
psychologically.
to have time in your platforms, time to time, in so many African platforms that stand for Africa. I would love it all the time when we can have it, and I'm ready to give my energy to Africa. If I don't have money to give to Africa, I don't have any other thing to give to Africa. This is what I can do for my continent. This is what I can do to bring them up and show them the way, who they are, to believe in themselves, correct them. This is what I can do, and I so appreciated being on this platform today. Trust me, I really appreciate it. I'm so happy all the people what
Okay, Pandimasia, thank you very much. Thank you very much to all the listeners. This is Pandimasia, the one of the most, let me say, the most right now, the most iconic speaker for our time. Very young revolutionary from the Gambia, Banjul, and now residing in Italy. He has been gaining the attention of all Africans in Africa and Africans in diaspora. He is one of our brother, and he will be here next time
yeah.
as very time soon because people are loving it. I'm seeing the comment like people don't want you to go anyway. Like
Of course, of
people
course,
don't
of
want you to
course,
go. People want you to speak like all the time, but we can give it time to rest and we can
of
work on
course. Another time
another
will
time
be
because
there.
we have you now. We have your
Yeah.
number. Yes, that's my number. That's my always. That's my number music, so we can communicate anytime. We have another conversation again.
Yeah.
So Panimasia, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, Martin. God
Thank you
bless
so
you.
much.
God
And
bless
I
you so much.
thank
God
all
bless
of
you.
your
God guide and
viewers
protect you.
and thank all of your
Remember the
fans
prayers.
out there.
The prayers of Africa just to guide and protect you. This is the prayers. Even in the comments here, God bless you. God guide and protect you. God protect you. That's the prayers. Thank you very much, Panimasia. Once and for all.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much, my
much. Thank
brother.
you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Bye
Bless you.
bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.